specifically in that game 2 from the WE series. And yeah, I think both drafts look very high impact, especially once we get into the mid game, right? A ton of champions on both sides wanting to dive onto the backline.
I was just about to say, you're looking towards this blue buff. This is a 3v3, will be a 4v3 in favor of BLG as Viego is roaming around. Not a lot of damage here for the AD carries. We see now flash in by the side of the Nautilus. He goes in, he gets healed up, he's still being able to stay alive. As Viego gets the reset, as now the real fight can continue. The Renekton is here. He TP'd in as Cream gets himself a kill. The Renekton falls, and it's going to be Cream pushing forward, trying to get all these kills. It looks so good for the start of BLG, but it's OMG that end up coming out trumps in this trade. They've taken 4, they've only lost 2. Yes, these health bars are low, but once these cooldowns come back, Aiming is in a lot of trouble. He flashes over the wall to safety.
And great play.
They tend to be able to just make things work, and like right now, they're going to be able to steal the Nautilus ultimate from PP God, and now he's in a hell of a lot of trouble, not able to get out, and Cream just picks up a solo kill.
And I mean, that was just an overstep coming out from PP God. Is Cream's going to look for this?
This guy is a monster. Cream just making so many advantages, and we talked about how there was no better man for the side of OMG to get these kills.
Big advantage somewhere, maybe hoping they can bait OMG into a fight. But need to remember, New still has TP, and OMG are posturing for this.
OMG are posturing, but it is BLG who land the hook. Now you can see BU is in a lot of trouble. We can see there is New on the flank. You just mentioned it. He's got himself with the dominance. They're going to try and take down BU, and they will. Yes, you get the Rift Herald, but you lose a kill in the exchange. And now OMG, they've got the ascendancy. They've got themselves the priority. They can look to push mid.
Yeah, I mean, they're pushing mid. Don't think BLG are still in any position where they can contest this.
Very, very difficult, but Zika gets caught out, gets brought back down. He's going to try and ult himself out, but no, the flash is not good enough, and he dies to Cream. 6-0-1 on this Silas. He very firmly has OMG on his back, and he is carrying them to the finish line.
Yeah, so OMG are going to get the Dragon off this. BLG do still have the Rift here if they want to try and punish the fact that all of BLG's members are on bots.
But you just ignored the Volley Bear, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. You need Grievous Wounds onto your Viego, you need Grievous Wounds onto your Diana to try and make these things work. We'll say that Abel gets caught out, gets taken down. The Rift Herald punches in onto the mid lane turret, and now the fight can really begin as PP God goes gold, and they're going to jump in with the stolen Volley Bear ultimate. It's going to be the Bringer of Storms. It's going to be Cream pushing forward. This is a 4v5 right now. They go, sorry, 5v4 or 4v4, excuse me, and now it turns into a 4v3. It's OMG after losing Abel, taking 2 kills and pushing themselves back into the advantage.
I mean, BLG are doing a decent job, right? They have BB making sure a flank doesn't come through. They made OMG lose a bunch of minions in mid, but OMG are still fighting the situation, and now Moonfall comes out for Cream.
Cream has stolen the Moonfall. They go in with the quickness to try and take down this fight. They're going to jump straight in as he gets himself over the wall. He's no longer a part of this fight. He's waiting to try flash in, but there's the Bringer of Storms. It looks like BLG have found themselves a fight, but look at Abel. Abel's putting out the damage. He gets 2. He's trying to jump himself out. He needs to get himself more damage down, but I don't think he can. He's just not quite there on the Tristana. As I say that, he's still kiting with this Red Bull doing so much. Aiming takes him out, though, and it's just cold left. He will eventually fall to the hands of the big bear in the top side of BU, and that is a 5-for-2 trade. BLG back in the game.
And it like OMG have an idea. They're setting up for the turn if you look at how PP got his position, though.
Oh, the TP is going to be used by both top laners, and now we're going to try and go for this one. You can see Aki trying to get out of the pit. He's not quite there just yet. He goes in, not able to steal it, though, as Baron is secured by BLG. Now the 5v5 can really happen, but look at these low health bars, and look at Abel, look at Cream. They're just putting out so much DPS right now. Aiming needs to be the hero. He's over the wall. No one can touch him. He needs to keep putting down the damage. You can see him just Mystic Shot, trying to see if he can go for it. It's 1v4, 1v2. He's going to be able to do it. He's going to be able to turn this one around.
Oh God, he's doing it!
Absolute God!
And I honestly thought he was going to jump into certain death once he eat into the pit, but Aiming able to turn it around. This was such a massive advantage for OMG in the early game. I can't believe BLG are actually pulling this off. Not only do at the last second they decide, hey, let's commit to the Baron, we got it low enough, but they're also able to take the fight. A ton of gold in that play. They also are able to deny the Dragon coming out, but you can see BLG at first were planning to turn. They get the Dragon so low, they decide just to opt into this. We see Aki going quite early, so he's already forced out of the fight. Cole tries to find an angle in. Weiwei was able to do a ton of damage before being brought out. But like you highlighted, Aiming able to get over the wall on the opposite side. BBU is still incredibly tanky and hard for the members of OMG to deal with. I thought here, when aiming Arcane shifted in, we would just see the members of OMG turn onto aiming and try to bring him down. New still chasing around the volley bear a little bit, so I wonder if OMG had committed, if they would have been able to find that kill, but I guess, you know, in the end it doesn't matter because they didn't do that, and now BLG are going to be pushing down bottom lane, starting to take the base away from OMG.
The if, buts, and maybes of League of Legends. So many questions, so many things that you think to yourself and go, what if? What may be this? But it doesn't come out that way. The result is the result. And now, 4,000 gold lead, or just a little bit under it here for BLG. They are knocking on the inhibitor doors here of OMG, and OMG are struggling to find a response to this.
I mean, OMG's composition is pretty much go, go, go. They need to jump in. They all want to dive onto the backline. The problem is, aiming's incredibly safe. He's on the Ezreal. Sure, he might not have flash and heal up, but then you also have so many members that can prevent that engage coming through. We've seen both BBU and Weiwei doing a great job of that so far. Zika has finally started to come into it and have some damage of his own, and then as long as PP is getting his ult off onto the right targets, that's all that really matters to allow this Ezreal to shine.
Zika playing. I love this little move, though, just before we go into the fight from aiming. He swapped his Ionian boots for Merc Trends, because he knows if he's caught, they lose the fight. So that extra little bit of tenacity, as now the Baron goes down to about 4,000 HP. We can see the fight is going to start before it even goes off. The Zhonya's has been used there by Diana. Cole tries to go in onto the backside. They're trying to jump onto aiming, and you can see him. He's just being too tanky. He's just got too much damage. But on the other side of this fight, it's 2 kills for Abel. Abel pushing forward and trying to be the hero for his team. But I don't think he can do it. They're trusting in with Zika. Zika's going to be going into Zhonya's. They're trying to delay for a little bit more time. It's the battle of the 80 carries, but it will be Aiming who comes out on top. Aiming keeps his team alive. Aiming keeps himself alive, and it is the ace for BLG.
And we talked about how these teams were pretty much performing opposite to expectations. BLG this time around, even losing in the early game, we said their mid-game decisions and mid-game team fighting have been where they failed, but this time around, that's how they got back in the game.
Fantastic mid-game fights right around that 4th Drake for BLG. You can see Cold here. It's going to be a desperate attempt to try and keep this one alive for his team, but with the Nexus turrets down, the Nexus exposed, BLG will take themselves game 1 in this best of 3 after padding the stats just a little bit.
LPL team fights are just some of the greatest things. It's the Nidalee and Renekton on the side of OMG. So we already know where their focus is going to be, setting up that combo, hopefully landing those spears, trying to accelerate their Nidalee. Still on the opposite side, Gwen, Lee Sin. I mean, those are 2 of the strongest champions you can get.
Flash onto BBU. They're just waiting for this next wave to kind of come in on top of this. They need the level 2 here from New before they can really go for anything. There it is. Flash forward, going to get the spear, and that is first blood for OMG.
And interesting,
kind of just what's going to happen. You pick the Leona, the Alistair's just a natural counter to you in that regards. He can just keep putting down the, as I saved that, PP God might be in a little bit of trouble as Cold has to flash himself away. There's the cleanse, there's the jump back on top of it. One more auto attack would do it, and he would be killed. There it is, and a punt back here as Abel. Oh, no!
Oh, that's tragic.
Oh, that's a bit tragic. Abel not judging the gap very well on his
any CS or EXP, so they can send their bottom lane mid to take Herald. This is something pretty interesting that we don't really see out of any teams, but OMG want to fight.
OMG do want to fight. You see PP God not level 6 yet, so does not have the solar flare as he goes in over the backside. Nice target selection here for OMG, and Aki gets himself the kill on top of the Varus. They trade out their support, but you will take that fight any day of the week. Weiwei and PP God have to run for the hills, and they also got the TP out of Zika, and they were able to stop the TP as well. So the TP from Zika was not able to finish. You can imagine it was just an explosive bomb from Abel, and they're going to be maybe going for this bot lane dive. As you can see, maybe lands the Q. Yes, he does. Resonating strike, and Zika picks up a solo, says, that's for stopping my TP. And this is not quite got done yet. As, oh my god, BLG come back in to steal the Rift Herald and take it up. Yes, they lose a kill in the process, but BBU can just get himself out, can get himself home, and that is a successful re-engage for BLG.
So
the TP comes in very, very deep here for the side of BLG, and maybe they're just looking to try and get Zeke on top of Aki. Aki gets flashed on. Aki goes into Zhonya's as he tried to keep himself alive, but to fight on two fronts. Aiming gets jumped on, and Aiming has to flash himself away. But Peekaboo, there's a Renekton behind here as they trade off the flank for flank. It is the jungler, though, for OMG that has fallen, so you do not have that. As we see a headbutt pulverize land on the two. It's going to be Wei jumping out of this fight, but this damage from the Gwen, this damage from the Lee Sin, it's just too damn much. He's not able to take down PP God, and it is going to be 4 kills going over to the side of BLG. They find the flank, they find the priority targets, and they're going to be able to find the dragon.
And for the bottom lane, he does have TP available, though.
Oh, they now have vision on it. There's Rift Herald, only about 5,000 HP, now down to 3,000, so still going to be going for round 2 of this fight. You can see the Gwen and the Renekton now trading blows. They jump straight back in on top of Aiming, and PP God's trying to kite for him. He's just running away, pops his heal to keep himself up and healthy. But look at all these low health bars, and look at the position of which OMG are in. They have no way of getting out of this. Sonic Wave does land. They jump straight in onto Abel, who has nowhere to go, no summoners to save him. They're going to turn off the turret into the mid lane as well, and take down the Renekton. Bear better than Crocodile in this particular matchup, and that's going to be so much gold, so much advantage here for the side of BLG. They're going to be able to take everything.
Yeah, taking away camps, getting doing now, then look for picks, and if that doesn't work out, you always turn towards a neutral objective once things like dragons spawn, and we've seen that they do have the superior 5v5.
Oh no, they're going to be catching out Aki, who's forced to flash away as they do get a headbutt pulverize now from Cold as he tries to jump onto Aiming. Speaking of jumping on, Abel finds himself on the backside. It's the exact same thing. Look at Pew. He's untouched, just ripping through these health bars. Yes, well done, OMG. You got the AD carry, but right now he is not the priority member. It's 2 kills to Pew, and Zika and Pew are just tearing, snipping, running through this OMG lineup. And they're all ending on just, yes, they're getting it, but it's just not worth it.
I mean, they're so tunnel vision, right? They're so upset about game 1. They throw away everything to get on top of Aiming. It was funny, he goes right over the blue buff wall. Instantly, all members of OMG are like, he must die. They follow him in. You're just opening yourself up to everyone else from BLG. We're at a 7k gold lead now at 23 minutes. This pretty much is going to be a free Baron. I don't think Cream can pull off any sort of hero play. He probably will just back off like it looks like he's going to do.
He doesn't
and now
think
for
so
BLG, you have so many options. We already talked about how they're able to control side waves. We've seen them do a good job. They're just making it too easy for them, Penguin. They're just making it too easy at this point.
Well, that's Aiming saying, there's a bit of revenge. I am still very powerful. You still have to prioritize me, but you're looking down across the board there.
I think BLG might have the tools to do it. They still have Weiwei's ultimate available. They are so strong. OMG are kind of just running into them. Looks like it might be fine for BLG.
A little risky, but BLG being respectful as they all get jumped onto right now. The Stormbringer gets dropped down on top of OMG. As you can see them looking for this. As you can see Zika bouncing forward and back, just doing so much work. The cleanse is not going to be able to do anything for you, my son, as BLG will just decimate, destroy, and completely dismantle OMG 2-0, and BLG have finally arrived in the summer split of 2021. They will pad their stats a little bit. They will get a couple of extra kills onto Aiming as he was hard focused by OMG, but the result stands. It is OMG falling to BLG 2-0.